So welcome back, everybody. My name is Garland Coulson. I'm the marketing director for PresentationPoint, and I'm the host for today's conference. Now, a lot of you might be tuning in at this point to listen to Tom Becker's presentation. Unfortunately, Tom had to take his wife to the hospital this morning and is not able to present. So I'm going to step in and I'm going to show you a course, one that I've taught before called Create and Sell Your Online Course, but I've never taught it to this audience and I haven't taught it during any of our conferences. So this presentation would be new to everybody here, at least presented by me. And during the presentation, please feel free to ask questions. Now, I've got a ton of slides here because this was actually a 2 or 3 day workshop. So it was a lot bigger than this. So I've cut it down. So we'll just share the screen here. And then we'll get started. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Create and sell your online course. Can you see that? Let me know in the chat area. Awesome, good. Okay, let's get going. So as I said, feel free to ask questions throughout. So why would you want to create and sell an online course? Well, first off, an online course can work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It provides passive income. So for those of you who are doing services or coaching or training, all those things tie up your time. An online course works for you and provides that passive income. You can reach a worldwide audience, not just the times you're awake. So you don't have to get up at 2 or 3 in the morning to present like this. You can instead have an online course where people can watch it while you're still in bed. And providing an online course builds your reputation. If you've got courses on a topic, people automatically see you as an expert in that field. What kinds of courses make money? Pretty well everything. Jessica Sprague put together a scrapbooking course. She made $20,000 in 4 months with over 80,000 students. So John Hawes does something called a nursing academy where he helps nurses pass their exams. So this is funny. So these nurses are paying money to learn to be a nurse from their normal school, but then they go to John Hawes' Nursing Academy online to actually learn how to pass the exams and learn better. So people are paying extra. And Lee Wasilenko, as a virtual reality developer training course he put together, he did $10,000 on launch. So that gives you an idea of what kinds of things can be done, wide range of stuff, like helping someone pass exams, training people to do virtual reality and scrapbooking. So I wanted to give you an example that it doesn't have to be just really difficult stuff. It can be almost anything you do. So what are you going to learn here? We're going to show you how to identify some good course niches, how to test that market, how to create your course quickly as possible, how to set up and host your course, and then how to market it online. The topics can be anything: health, hobbies, music, photography, sports, technology. It's endless. So, don't think that you don't have anything to offer, because there's probably something you're knowledgeable enough about that you could offer a course on. And you don't have to be an expert. People often prefer to learn from others who are just a little ahead of them, rather than those experienced people who have forgotten what it's like to start out. Somebody who's a multi-millionaire who's trying to teach you how to get there, often they've forgotten what they did along the way. You're sometimes better off to learn somebody who's successful, but not somebody who did it 30 years ago. University courses are often like really stilted and boring, but you can speak the language of your students. You can also interview experts to create content, so you don't have to know everything yourself. So think of yourself as the editor or curator of a magazine. You can pull the experts in, pull expert material from many sources. Lots of ways to make money from online courses. You can sell your course, you can license it to other organizations, you can sell group packages, you could offer a course for free but sell advertising on it. A lot of people do that through YouTube. You can offer a course but then have some related services that you earn money from. And again, you can earn money from affiliate products as well. So what course should you teach? Well, you want to pick from something you're either knowledgeable about or passionate about, or a major need you've identified, something that people are asking about, something people really need help with. You can test the market for your course, search online and Google and see, what are people looking for, how to, search for YouTube videos on certain topics, like see what topics come up. Look at Google Trends, go to forums and Facebook groups and Reddit and things like that. Participate in these forums and ask people, you know, what their pain points are and things like that. Oh, Rachel says not appearing on her screen, but other people say it's on their screen. Everybody else okay on their screen? Maybe Rachel, you might want to just refresh it, like maybe log out to Zoom and back in, see if that helps. You can also do keyword research, and I'll show you some examples of this later on, but you can use tools like answerthepublic.com or KW Finder. Yeah, other people say the screen's okay, so must just be something with Rachel. You can also create your own expert magazine where you gather information on a topic. So I use a tool for this, a free tool called feedly.com. And so Feedly lets me subscribe to my favorite blogs and news feeds around the world, and it assembles it into my own magazine I read. And so I'm always updated on the latest things going on in my industry. Look for strong needs, pain points, things people are upset about, problems that they need solving, something they're willing to pay for, something that keeps them awake at night, something that, is this burning need for them. And then save, those, copy and paste stuff, save it to OneNote, or just find a way to start finding all these things. Look for a unique niche or approach. So just because you see other competing courses out there doesn't mean you shouldn't offer a course. It means the topic's popular. So look for a niche or a unique approach you can take. Maybe you do the contrarians, version of the course, or maybe you do a basic one. Maybe you do a more in-depth one. So look for ways you can stand out and be different with your niche. And other ways to stand out. So how do you stand out when you're teaching an online course? You could be more entertaining. You could be more direct, more to the point, have better speaking skills. You could provide better experts or more in-depth content. So think of, how am I going to be far better than these other people are? More ways to stand out: your personality. We're all unique people, and people connect to people that they like. And you don't have to be an expert at it. You just have to be warm and authentic. You can take that contrary approach, have an unusual brand, unusual designing around what you do. You can create additional value in a number of ways. So I almost think books are a waste of time, because a book talks about stuff and they give you anecdotes and stories, but books are almost useless to apply the principles. So I think every book should have a companion workbook. So similarly, with your online course, provide a workbook, cheat sheets, checklists, all these ways that people can actually apply step by step what you're teaching. You can do a podcast version of your course as well, so people can download it and listen to it while they're exercising or while they're commuting. Add enhanced, deeper content. You can also add in coaching sessions and mastermind groups. Here's an example of a niche audience. This is something you probably wouldn't have thought would have worked when it first came out. So this is Chicken Soup for the Soul, a #1 New York Times bestseller by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. So all this is inspirational stories that they collected. They didn't even write it. I mean, yes, they wrote the intro and the bridges and that kind of thing, but they didn't write each story, they collected them. And this became amazing. So one book came after the other. Now it's Chicken Soup for the Parent Soul, Chicken Soup for Teen Soul. There's even Chicken Soup for dogs, dog food. And so it's gone crazy. So that's an example of a niche market you probably wouldn't have thought of, that people just get to. And it's just doing inspirational stuff. We often price our courses too low. We undervalue what we're teaching. You can look at other courses in places like Udemy to see what they're charging, but consider offering a greater value at a higher price. And think of, what is the value of the transformation you teach? If you teach something that's transformative in someone's life, what's that worth? It's probably worth a lot more than a $20 course. If you have a more expensive course, you can also do a payment plan, such as 3 equal payments. over 90 days. So you could say you can pay $750 when you register, or 3 equal payments of $275. So charge them a bit extra for that kind of financing. And that way it doesn't seem like the cost is quite as high for them. You could also have people pay you monthly or annually. So this creates ongoing subscription payments, recurring payments for you. And this works best if you're continually adding new content, because if people signed up for your course, took it once, they probably don't need to come back to it every year or every month. So that's where, if you want that kind of subscription, you know, payment to come in, you're probably going to have to continually add new content. Payment options, most people buy with credit cards online, of course. PayPal, Stripe, and Square all have systems that make it really easy to take payments for online courses. Check to see which, you know, your hosting platform supports. Remember that refunds are a part of business. Have a policy in place, maybe a 30-day refund policy or a 15-day refund policy, whatever it is, and check with whoever you're hosting your course with, because they may have some say into what kind of a refund policy you have. Watch out for legal issues. Make sure you're not teaching something that's illegal in some countries. For example, if I were to do my course, Home Brain Surgery in 5 Easy Lessons, I may have people knocking on my door that, you know, perhaps home brain surgery is not a good course to be teaching. So, you know, and can your course be taught without certification? I mean, sometimes there's certification on things like, I know in our country for things like gas pipe fitting or electricians, you can't just take an online course on that. You have to be certified in doing that. So be aware, have disclaimers about geographical differences, because things may not be legal in every country. And if need be, involve the help of a lawyer to make sure you're not running afoul of anything. So usually people host their course. And what that means is that you have a service you're using to upload your videos to. Often they give you a sales page, a student sign up and access method, and a payment method. Sometimes they let you create affiliate programs. One of the key things they will provide often is multi-device capability. This means that your online course can be viewed on desktop, on tablet, laptops, and on smartphones, which are really key. So that's what a good hosting company will do for you. Potential hosts, you can, you know, host it free on YouTube, Teachable, Udemy, WordPress, Rizuku, Academy of Mind. There's a bunch of them out there. Simpler is a new one I'm playing with right now. So there's lots of different hosts out there. Now, there's some differences with these hosts, okay? So some of these you have to promote yourself. So Teachable, Simpler, if you're working with a WordPress plugin, all these other ones, you have to drive traffic to your sales page. Now, you can, but if you put stuff on YouTube or Skillshare or Udemy, they've got traffic for you. So that's a case of where you know, there can be some benefits to working with them. You have more control with the ones on the left, but you might have more people out there who can sign up on the right-hand side. And you can publish on multiple platforms. So if you publish in one of the platforms, it gives you full control. You can also add this to Udemy and to Skillshare and other places. Test your platforms, make a list of your needs, use free trials to upload several videos, see how they work on your sales page, test and see how it looks on a mobile app, and send them support tickets to see how responsive they are. That's a key thing that I always do. Johnny says, does YouTube have a built-in LMS? Not really, Johnny, but you can create it using playlists. So you could do a playlist that would create a course that would be done that way. Great question, by the way. So yes, it's not a full-blown LMS. You can do playlists, and you can have people comment on it and stuff like that. Of course, you know, you have to, you know, you might get some spammy comments as well. You might have to delete and that kind of thing. And I wouldn't recommend YouTube for the most part, but I'll talk about using YouTube to promote your course a little bit later on and how I see it being used the best. So how do I assemble this course now that I've got my idea? Well, first off, don't get overwhelmed. I mean, there's so much information that could go into a course that often we go, I got to add this, I got to add this. The course is never going to be done. Choose one introductory element to focus on and get one short module done. Just work on one module. So just do one to start with. And you can bundle courses as well. So think of them as mini courses as being a module to your master course. So it's like if you're going to teach, you know, a course on scrapbooking, well, here's the big, huge course in scrapbooking, but here's your short intro to scrapbooking. Or, you know, you might have another course on you know, scrapbooking tips and tricks, like small stuff, and then you can expand it later on. You can develop and offer each one individually, let people buy them individually. And as you get more and more modules together, you can offer larger bundles of these courses, and then eventually the ultimate all-in-one course. Teach only what is needed for online courses. There's far too many people who sat through horrible, long university lectures. So if you want to teach a course on how to overcome anxiety, don't start with the history of anxiety in Greek, you know, in the days of Greece, you know, the glory days of Greece or something, or throughout antiquity. Instead, no, people want to know how to solve their anxiety now. Focus on how you're going to do that. Teach the transformation the students want. Teach the outcome, not the fluff. So start out by figuring, what are your student questions? What do they ask most often? So what do they ask you most often? What are they asking in online forums? What questions did you have when you're learning? Your course content is really just simply the answer to all of these questions. Tap your network for idea. Ask people you know. Ask your social networks. Like, what would you like to see in a course? What questions do you have about blank? And this is a really fun tool. This is a tool called answerthepublic.com. You enter one word and it comes up with tons of questions that people might ask about it. So let's say I wanted to do a course on, you know, introduction to telescopes. So then you can see there's questions here about what telescope to buy for us astrophotography. You know, who invented the telescope? What telescope to see Neptune? You know, what telescope to see Saturn? You know, which telescope is best for viewing planets? So you can start to just grab each of those questions, and they can be a chapter. They could be a short video. They could be a short module. So this is an amazing tool. It's one I use whenever I'm coming up with new content, coming up with new online courses, coming up with blogs, coming up with videos. I use this all the time. I am a big fan of outlining. I like to do everything in an outline. And you probably all know what outlines are, but this is just an example outline. It's bullet points, how to build a rocket ship, you know, and then step one, what parts do I need? Where do I find the parts? How to make the parts I can't find? How to get permits, federal, state, etc. And then, you know, see our next course, homesteading on Mars. So, you know, because I have big plans. So, and it's, you can move the bullet points in and out, you can shift them around, and it's just a really great way to plan your course by working with bullet points to start with. So some great outlining, planning, and presentation tools. Answer the Public, I mentioned. Google Suggest is another one that will, if you look it up, it will give you ideas on a topic. Online forums, Facebook groups, Reddit, things like that. Your network. To create your outline, PowerPoint's great for this, especially if you're going to be creating the course in PowerPoint, which I often do. So often I go straight to PowerPoint for outlines, but mind maps are also good for it, and Dynalist is another great way to create the outlines. Be ready for ideas. When an idea strikes for a course or something you need to add, be ready to take notes anywhere, anytime. I take notes quite often on my smartphone, but a printed notepad is great to have along as well. Throw one in the bathroom, so when you get up at night, you've got a way to take a note. If something occurs to you in the middle of the night, grab your smartphone or have a notepad in the bathroom where you can jot notes down. So when you're doing an online course, should you be doing videos or should you be doing text and graphics? And both can work fine. People can learn from both. Video tends to engage more senses because you've got movement on audio. So it tends to work a little bit better that way. Video can be better for teaching a physical skill. I was gifted a couple of sockeye salmon, which are very large fish. I hadn't cleaned a fish in over 20 years. I used YouTube videos to show me how to clean my fish. So that was great for that physical skill of how to do this. Writing and illustrations can take a long time. Like it can actually take a lot longer. In some cases, if you're having to pay an illustrator, it can cost more than video. Short videos rule. So when you're doing these courses, keep your videos short, no more than maybe 2 to 10 minutes. And this lets people watch in short periods of time, or if they have to leave or take a phone call or go back to their work, they can still watch a couple of videos in between and they can pause and come back. It's also less time to record each video. And it's easier to record with less flubs. So if I had to record a 4-hour workshop perfectly in front of the camera and make no mistakes, that's not going to happen. If I have to do a 2 or 5 minute video, I can probably do it without a flub, or if I do flub a couple times, it's not that hard to reshoot it. So it's much simpler to work within the short videos. Should you use a script to say the exact words you're planning on, or should you use bullet points? So if you're going to have voice actors deliver the course for you, that's where you might want to script. You might want to script it out. But myself, when I'm speaking, I just use bullet points because I flesh out the bullet points. It comes very naturally to me. It feels, you know, like natural. It feels authentic. So it comes across a lot better. And scripted can often sound stilted, like if you're trying to read a speech. So I find that works better. Oh, thank you, Kamal. Says you're so detailed and to the point. The pulse of the real time in the situation. Amazing. Thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So. Think of your favorite teacher. What did they do well? How did they get you engaged? What was so exciting about what they did? And then model what they did. Learn from those people. Learn from the people who are inspiring to us. Watch other great presenters and go, wow, you know, I may not be as good a presenter as that, but I can aspire to that. And I watch what they did, how they did it. And then I can mirror that. And that takes us to the power of storytelling. In the past, when I used to teach courses, I would often give people the facts, the steps, the how-tos. And I found, though, when I told them real life stories of what was happening with myself and my clients, people leaned in. They were intrigued and they were connected to it much more powerfully. And they would remember later on, they say, Garland, I was at that course where you told that story. So the storytelling is great. Use real life examples. And that's why we use so many case studies in PresentationPoint, you know, because real life examples are much more powerful than hypothetical situations where we say, you could do this. Add some drama, you know, storytelling, a good story has some drama. And stories engage your listeners much more than facts or hypothetical situations. Johnny says, stories are just data with a soul. There you go. And that's a great way to get it across. Like, you know, data about how many children are starving to death every day. The data and numbers don't get across the poignant emotion that you could get across by telling a story, by showing the pictures, by letting the grief come up in your voice. I mean, that is huge. And apparently that quote that Johnny said was from Breen Brown. Yeah, so we want to always you know, attribute our quotes where we can. Warren says, I'm a physician, use case presentations to start. Absolutely, you know, the presentations are fantastic that way. And authentic is better than perfect. Don't worry about minor imperfections, keep it real. People will overlook minor imperfections. I once, as a professional speaker, I have to admit, I'm a little judgmental when people present, okay? Especially when they go, a lot and that kind of thing. You know, when you're in the speaking world, you go, oh, I can't believe they're doing that. And there's this young woman, I was at a workshop and she was presenting, and she made all the common mistakes beginners do, but she was so impassioned, so excited about her topic, and so knowledgeable. I found myself leaning in and enjoying it anyway, because the authenticity just came through. So, you know, do that, keep it natural. You want to vary your voice. We've all heard of death by PowerPoint. So death by PowerPoint is where you read each bullet point, vary your voice, speak with passion, slow down, understand the value of dramatic pause. Like you basically speak in a monotone. So instead, you know, vary it. Stop for that dramatic pause. People start leaning in, they listen, and slowing down. Now, I have a problem with this particular presentation because this one was cut down from a 2-day workshop. So I tried to pull out as many slides as I could that I thought I could still make it work. So I'm still probably speaking faster than I normally would to try to get through all the content. But this is really key, learning to vary your voice, learning to get some emotion in it. RX is, how do we kick off common mistakes that beginners do? These are some of them, you know, varying your voice, speaking with passion, slowing down, not using the word yeah, and you know, great speakers. Ton says, you know, Obama does that very well. Yes, you know, listen to some of these speakers, listen to what they do, and yes, the pause, Warren, the power of the pause is amazing. Practice a few times before you record. Practice it like you were actually delivering it. So when I'm practicing, I don't say, well, then I would say this about this slide. Instead, I deliver it the same way I would. And if you want to help improve your presenting skills, there's a worldwide nonprofit organization called Toastmasters, which is really good. They give you chances to practice every week. They have a set skill set you work through, guides. My wife has run several Toastmasters groups, so I can tell you it works very well. And interesting as well, you know, I've gotten lots of business and networking from my wife's stuff. So someone says death by PowerPoint is an idiotic concept, as if the tool may ever be the culprit. It's a really great point, Miguel. PowerPoint is not the problem. The problem is the presenter who is putting far too many bullet points on the screen and is you know, not delivering it effectively and reading the points in a monotone. Now, I notice for online courses, you'll notice I have more bullet points than I normally would. If I was presenting live, I would usually have less bullet points. But with an online course, I find people seem to like to read more, whereas in a live presentation, they focus there. Johnny Quinn says, any recommendations for an LMS and WordPress? Oh, I've tried several, Johnny, and I haven't been happy with any of them. They just feel clunky to me. They first off, they can work, but it feels to me like it's grafting onto PowerPoint, like trying to turn PowerPoint blog posts or page posts into that content, and it just doesn't seem to work well as an MLS for me. I haven't found one I like. So can you please define LMS? Great question, Tara. So those of us who have been using them quite a while, we tend to have our own phrases. So LMS stands for Learning Management System. So it's a way to manage your learning content. So it's really a way to host your course, to deliver it to people. So so common LMSs, we'll talk about a few in a few minutes as well. So some video options. How can you do your video? Well, you can record yourself on camera like this. Say, right now I'm recording, could do this. PowerPoint with voiceovers I find works very well, especially for some of us who are shy on camera. But the PowerPoint lets you add a lot of visual and graphics to your slide. As well, you can present your PowerPoint. I could present it up in the corner. Like if I just had myself on the screen, I could present it up in the corner as well. So you could lay that over. You can use a screen capture video, which allows you to capture a screen while you're doing it. And I use this a lot. So if I want to show my virtual assistant how to do something, I capture my screen. I say, okay, here's the problem I have on the PresentationPoint website. Here's what I need changed. Go to this page and do this and do this. And I show them how. And it's send it off to them, and it works really well. Explainer videos, we'll talk about those in a moment. But the explainer videos are illustrated videos that explains a concept. And interviews with experts, become a talk show host, which is another great way to do this. So Pete says, in general, I avoid any LMSs. All of them are very clunky. Looking to next generation learning experience platforms. I'm not fully sure what they are. And maybe a few of the ones I mentioned here will fit that criteria, Pete. So when you're recording yourself, you become the brand. You're the face, you know, you're the person there. People connect with you. And this is excellent if you're demonstrating a skill like art, cooking, or playing a musical instrument. You know, it works really well in that particular case. People like to connect to a real live person and let your amazing, colorful personality shine through. When you're recording yourself, you need a decent camera, tripods, probably some lighting, backgrounds, maybe a teleprompter. Cameras are pretty easy nowadays. I mean, even, you know, phones, iPhones or Android phones, they're incredibly powerful video cameras now. So they are good enough in many cases. Your iPad or tablet. My wife teaches Native American flute lessons and often teaches them with her iPad. Laptop or webcam can work quite well. Point and shoot camera, DSLRs, which are, you know, like the bigger standard cameras you see with the big lenses. And cameras with the ability to see yourself are very helpful if they pop up a little window. or have a pop-out screen. That really helps if you can see where you're positioned, so you don't shoot the whole video and find out you're way over here and only half your face was on the video. So that helps a lot. Tripod must be sturdy. You need a compact one if you're going to be shooting outdoors, if you want to teach any courses outside. Teleprompter, you can use a computer, tablet for this, or a smartphone. PowerPoint gives you the ability to work in a presenter view that shows you the next screen coming up. So that's really powerful. I often use PowerPoint as my teleprompter in that case. And you want to make sure you have a teleprompter in line for the camera, so you're not looking way over here all the time to read your screen. Instead, you want it to be where you're making eye contact whenever possible. Few simple recording tips. Look directly at the camera as often as you can. You know, it's hard if you're trying to read a screen, but look up regularly. Have the camera at eye height if possible, instead of way up or way down. And watch for distracting stuff behind you, electrical outlets, knickknacks, fluff, dust bunnies, cobwebs, those kinds of things, because it can pull away from the presenter. What if I don't look hot? What if I'm not really pretty, or not really built, or those kinds of things? So what teleprompter do you recommend for the smartphone? Just look up on Google Play. There's several there. I don't use one on smartphone myself. As I said, I usually use the PowerPoint one, the PowerPoint presenter view. But yeah, I think there's several free ones that are decent. So what if you don't look like this? What if you don't want to be on screen because you're worried you're not looking that great? What if you don't want to be on camera? Well, first off, I think you worry too much. I mean, I'm not that pretty. Okay, I know it. So I'm not that pretty, but I'm a professional speaker. I teach online courses all the time. I shoot myself all the time on camera. And people like me, they connect to me, they like what I do. So you don't have to be that good looking. You don't have to be Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie in order to do this. You can keep yourself off camera. You can use PowerPoint with voiceover. That works really well. Especially sometimes there's people who have these amazing voices, and you see them. I met this fellow one time, just a very unassuming little man. He looked like a regular grandfather, like I look like a grandfather too. And he had this, he worked in radio. He had this booming voice. It was awesome. So you can do that. Use explainer videos. Again, I'll talk about explainer videos in a minute and show you how to do it. You could use actors if you want somebody to deliver, or you could use puppets. I think puppets would be a great way to deliver an online course or news. Puppets work for less money. Yeah, they're a little cheaper to hire. They're attractive and colorful and unique. So that would be a great way to do it. Miguel says, nice stuff in the shelves in the background. Yeah, Miguel, I wasn't planning on presenting today, although I was the host. So yes, but it's fun to have some stuff in the background. Some people who do a lot of pop culture talking, they'll have collections on the back because they're Star Wars fans. I'll have all this Star Wars stuff up. I've got a bit of my driftwood art up and a few other things. But yeah, it's fun to do that, to think about what can be in the background. So yeah, puppet actors are another method. What if you hate your voice? Everybody hates their recorded voice. Okay, we all don't think we don't think it sounds like we really sound, because somehow there's a difference when we're speaking with how it sounds. So none of us really like our voice. But in most cases, people love to connect to the actual person who's teaching. So definitely work on varying your voice, having passion in it, using this dramatic pauses, changing the volume. But I think in many cases, you should just use your own voice. But you can also hire a student, an actor. Think of actors in local theater productions. If they could get paid to do some voiceover work, they're excited, because that's a way for them to get out there. It adds to their portfolio. They really need some. Or you could hire somebody with a sexy British accent. Raka says, not confident about our own voice and appearance. I guess it takes some practice and feedback. Yeah, for the appearance, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Wear something, for your audience. I mean, professional. If you're speaking to a professional audience, wear professional. But I like to think of Steve Jobs, who wore, black turtlenecks and I think black jeans or something. I mean, he just created his own look. So create your own iconic look and just do that. And again, practice makes perfect, using Toastmasters and things like that. Any thoughts on computerized voices? I don't like them, Warren. Most times, if I'm watching a video and it's a computer voice, I cut out the video. I don't watch any YouTube videos with computer voices. So far, I find there's just not emotion in them, so I don't connect well to them. I'm not saying they don't have their place, especially if you do something fun with maybe fun animated explainer videos or something, but for the most part, I prefer a live voice. And not just because I'm a professional speaker. They just, so far, they're not that warm. So here's a guy in Fiverr who record any voiceover in a native British accent for $5. So there you go. You can get that posh English accent or you know, from people, audio crystal clear, 175 words, etc. So there's a way to get this done fairly inexpensively. When you're doing the audio, make sure that your camera, if you have a microphone in your camera, it can work, but it needs to be close enough to you. If you got a camera way further back and the microphone's on the camera, that's not going to work very well. I use a Blue Yeti. I quite like it. Audio-Technica is another good brand. And it's a USB that plugs directly into my computer, which makes it really easy to do that. Miguel says, especially if you're speaking about robotics, talking about computer voices. Good point. A robotic voice would fit there. A science fiction type voice would fit for certain things. Good. It's a really good point. Portable audio equipment, you can use your camera microphone. Again, it needs to be positioned close to you. I have a separate microphone that plugs into my DSLR camera that I position close to me, like, you know, a few inches from my mouth. Portable solutions, Zoom makes some great recorders. Not the Zoom that we've been using during COVID-19 lockdown to all communicate with our teams. Zoom is an actual brand name of a physical handheld recorder, the picture on the screen there. And they are really good quality. My wife uses them sometimes when she records jamming with other musicians. If you're going to do audio separate from your camera, clap your hands at the beginning of the audio, and that clap will do a jump in the graph, you know, at the beginning of the audio. It makes it easier to sync that with your camera. You want to reduce audio noise as much as possible. I've seen a lot of videos shot outdoor where you get the of the wind happening. So there's usually sometimes you can put these muffs over your microphone that do that, wind muffs. They look like little, you know, tribbles, if any of you are Star Trek fans, the little furries. Or else, and some of the microphones or cameras have a little switch you can flip as well in them for cutting wind noise. Computer hum, sometimes you get computer hum in the background, air conditioning, heaters and vents. Sometimes too, a microphone just might conflict with the display or something. So it's kind of you know, problem that way. When you're recording classes live that you want to turn into an online course, use a separate or lapel microphone, because a microphone or a camera at the back of the room, all the participants are between the camera and the presenter. So you're going to pick up all the participant noise. Or set up right by one of the audio speakers. Bassem says, what about neural voices using neural technology by IBM Watson or Google WaveNet technology? I'm not familiar with those, Bassem. I can't tell you, but check them out, no reason. Lighting tips. Most video cameras work great outdoors, so your best pictures are probably going to come outdoors. For indoors, you know, position for light from your window if possible. Again, sunlight is the best if you can get it. Artificial light on you, try to get no shadows in your face. Change your ISO settings in your camera, and you can adjust the white balance in your camera for the type of light. And you can look at the instructions on how to do that. Green screens are great if you want to add graphics. Putting a green screen behind you as a presenter lets you then add whatever background you want. You can use a room divider, and a green screen is just stretch cloth or fabric. It's not anything really expensive. So here's Garland's lazy content system. I outline my content in PowerPoint and text only, but when I'm going to do a video, I add notes on what graphics I'd like. Then I might send it to a graphic designer on Fiverr, have them do the graphics. Then I get the graphics back. I do a voiceover while running PowerPoint, screen capture it, then I upload it. So it's a really fast way to do that. Miguel says Zoom allows chroma key. A good point. Zoom's great. You can change the background in Chrome. It will even work without a green screen, but it works best with a green screen. But yes, if I wanted to change that background in Zoom, I could do that. Screen capture. So I capture my computer screens a lot when I'm doing how-to videos on things. And then I just add the voiceover. And you can also add title slides, text, arrows, shoutouts in your video editing program later. Great for software tutorials or recording PowerPoint. A great free tool for this is Open Broadcaster software. It works quite well. Another one is Loom, which I often use, which lets you host videos. So So an explainer video is an animated video with drawings that's great for kind of explaining topics. You could do it yourself with a whiteboard, or you can outsource it, or there's services like Powtoons. And this is Powtoon. And as you can see, you can kind of create animated videos here just by dragging elements onto the screen, controlling how long they work and stuff like that. So definitely a cool tool to check out. So I mentioned before, a great way to create content is by interviewing experts. This way you don't have to have the expertise yourselves. You can look for book authors, bloggers, article writers, YouTubers, speakers at conferences, or local experts. And you can pay them to share, or you can offer to mention them, give them some traffic to their website or something, bundle their course with yours, partner with them. Look for win-win situations where you can work with experts, turning them into partners. But of course, you can also hire them as well. Graphics, if you're looking for great graphics for PowerPoint, I use Adobe Spark a lot for simple stuff. And first off, I'm not that good at graphic design, but if I need a quick graphic for a PowerPoint or a blog, I use something like Adobe Spark, which is free, really easy to use. If I need really high quality graphics, I hire that out because it's not my best skill set. Easel.ly is great for infographics and flowcharts. And of course, stock photo sites can be good to do that as well. Some good stock photo sites, free ones, Pexels and Pixabay. Another one I use is Big Stock Photo. There's tons out there, Deposit Photo, Photodune. So when you're licensing online material, make sure that you're checking copyright notices and status. Don't just grab a Google image and put it on your online course, or you could be sued. So you want to make sure that you're using copyright free. Make sure that you're approaching people if you want to use their photos, music, or artwork. If you're using stock photo sites, they're already pre-set up to allow you certain uses of it. And they may also have videos and audio music as well. Special graphics, I mentioned, Fiverr, you could hire other people. You can use Simbi, which is a barter site, Upwork, really any of the sites out there you can look at for if you need some really cool special graphics done. Video editing, free ones, OpenShot, Windows Movie Maker, iMovie, paid ones, of course, there's tons of those. And editing video is actually quite easy. You can, this is a screenshot of a video editor, but you can drag and drop videos, graphics, create title screens, clip. It takes a bit of work, or you can just, hire out the audio and video editing as well. It's really easy to convert video to audio to make it a podcast. I use a free tool for this called VLC Player. Just open up the file and then just save it as audio. And then now you've got your podcast ready. And again, all this editing, all this work can be easily outsourced. Creating time for content. I have dedicated blocks of time each day or dedicated content days where I only work on content. So this is how I do this. Jenny says, will you be sharing this presentation? So many great tips and I can't write fast enough. Yeah, I think that's a drawback of trying to condense a 2-day workshop into a 1-hour session, because I was condensing it while Kurt was doing his. I wanted to watch Kurt's presentation fully, but I had to get this one ready since poor Tom couldn't be here to present today. But yes, this session is being recorded and will be provided to all of the participants. Let your course evolve. So create more content when you get feedback from your students, find out new trends, new techniques. And it's really easy to add, because if you're doing this in 5-minute videos, it's easy to reshoot a video that's no longer current, or if you change tools, or just want to have something new. And communicate with your students. Tell them when there's new content. So you upload your videos to the host and you can choose whether they're downloadable or not. Now, if you make them all downloadable, then somebody else could just steal your course. Probably not a concern in many cases, but I usually don't make my videos downloadable, but I do make my podcast downloadable so people can do that. Okay, so now you've got your course. How do you market it? So 15 minutes to show you how to market a course. So you don't yell out the window, yes, do you want to buy my course? You want to know who your target audience is, have a very clear vision, and then target all your efforts to that audience. So how old are they, their age, ethnicity, location, financial status, what are the needs they have, what keeps them awake at night. Then you want to create a written marketing plan to reach that audience, and you want to find all the channels that reach those people. And then you want to make sure your testing and tracking is in place, build your list, create a sales plan and page, and then implement that plan. So testing and tracking. So Google Analytics will track traffic to your website or to your course, and it will also track conversions. So if you're advertising in 5 different places, Google Analytics can tell you which places worked and which didn't. Email marketing is still the most powerful way to reach people every day because everybody opens their email inbox daily. So list building is huge. You can track how many people opened your email, how many people clicked on the link, how many sales come. So you want to be building your list well before you build or launch your course. And here's kind of the sales process. So on the right-hand side, we gather people through advertising, search engine optimization, content marketing, forums, all forms of marketing, and we give them something for free to bring them into our list. Often at PresentationPoint, we provide free templates, free trials, free sign up for our list, for receiving our articles and resources. And then, and only then, do we sell to people by sending them to a sales page when we have a sales offer for them. So the idea is gather people first into your funnel, into your list, then sell to them once they're a member of your list. To list build, offer something for free, ebook, guide, video, cheat sheet, checklist, mini course, templates, something of that nature. Your list management tool will handle your subscriptions, unsubscriptions, broadcast, launch sequences, and all those kinds of other things. You can also segment your list, so you can send out different emails by type. So we might send out a different email to our resellers than we would send to our general list. Autoresponders are where you send automated emails out, a series of emails. You can use this for welcome sequences or for a launch sequence. Linda asked, what's my favorite funnel builder? And so the list management tool we use to bring people into our funnel is MailerLite. There's other ones out there, ConvertKit. I'm not a fan of MailChimp. I can't explain during this session, but MailChimp is very clunky to use and has horrible problems, especially if you're trying to sell webinars and bring people into multiple different lists. It just doesn't work well. Here's a free offer example. This is Jessica Sprague. She's doing a Digital One. We've just begun the beginning basics to digital scrapbooking free course. So that brings people into her list. Then she sells her paid scrapbooking later. Here's a website called Femtrepreneur. It's a course for women on becoming an entrepreneur. And she offers a free course as well. You can see it's just solid right in her website. So your sales page where you're actually selling something, where you want people to buy, should only be shown to people who are already members of your list. Needs a professional look, powerful, compelling content, strong credibility, and a strong call to action. And Jenny says, watch out for GDPR regs in Europe. Really good point. So you need to make sure you have taken all the things that are needed to be done for the rules around marketing in Europe. However, MailerLite and all these other major programs are set up for that. Just make sure you're following the procedures for there. Sales page templates, you can usually get them from your hosting platform. You can hire someone to make your graphics pop if need be. MailerLite will even do sales pages for you, or pages, those kinds of pages. You want to be selling benefits to people, not features. Focus on the benefits, how it benefits them, things they really need, desire, worry about, or fear. And you want to use emotional language and tug at their heartstrings. It's funny, people pay thousands of dollars for a website and graphics, but they won't hire a professional copywriter. And copywriters create persuasive words that turn visitors into customers or visitors into subscribers. And you should be working with expert copywriters for your website, for your email programs, for all these different kinds of things. You can also create urgency by offering a time-limited lower price, such as a coupon, or even the course closing entirely, or a bonus if they sign up by a certain date. Social proof, you want to include testimonials, graphs, credentials, and real-life examples to show people that this course is worth having. Crowdfunding, you can even use something like Kickstarter to pre-sell your course to fund the development. Works best when you already have a following or a list, or when your course is really unique. This is an example of a Kickstarter course. This person raised $72,000 at that point for their live stream permaculture design course. So, Marketing online, I use a lot of content marketing. I work, I create articles, videos, infographics, and those kinds of things. The reason I like content marketing for marketing is it works very well with search engines and works great with social media and YouTube and things like that. Also keeps your list members, people who subscribe to you, engaged, that they, you know, they have interesting content to read. Forums are interesting because somebody else has gathered your audience for you. This would be like Facebook groups, Reddit or Quora or standalone forums. And you can spend time in these forums and use them to build your list. This is a forum called Badger and Blade, which has over 76,000 members, all talking about men's shaving products. So, you know, when people tell you it's women who primp, not men, no, the men, we men primp in this forum. We are all primpers here. So, but what a great place if you want to talk, if you had products relating to this, you know, and you can connect with people. Now you want to make sure when you're doing forums, read the rules first. They usually have, you know, rules against just spamming or those kind of things. So ask questions, connect to people, make sure your profile's detailed, and, you know, link to additional resources and position yourself as an expert. And I find I get many leads from forums. Social media, awesome nowadays, you know, with Facebook, YouTube, great ways to market. Again, you want to use this to build your email list and to inform. General social media tips, pick a few and do them superbly. Don't scatter yourself across all 600 different social media platforms. Choose the social media most used by your audience. And these are probably things you might want to hire help for, a virtual assistant to help with. Facebook groups are great ways to connect, a Facebook page. You can do ads, but again, you want to track conversions. And again, you're using Facebook to build your list. YouTube has a larger audience than prime time television. So it's like having your own TV station. So YouTube's a great way to attract people to you and to build your list. Videos are more likely to be shared than articles. So that's a really powerful one. Example, Michelle Phan, she did free makeup tutorials online, wanted to get hired by a makeup company. They wouldn't hire her. Got over 8.8 million subscribers, videos viewed over 1 billion times, now has her own cosmetic line. So YouTube, use it to build lists. You can use keyword research to find the high traffic keywords and go from there. I'm going to skip through a few of these because we're coming close to the end here. So you know, the whole public speaking and selling courses, it just positions you as an expert, and then you can sell things at the back of the room after. So this is why it's so powerful. How do you market courses on LinkedIn? One good way is to publish a lot. I publish a lot of my articles on LinkedIn RX, and I find that really does help attract people to me. You can also put videos right in your profile. So when you're launching your art, you want to set up some articles in your topic, and then some email promos for it, maybe 3 to 6, multiple social media broadcasts, special time limited offers to create urgency. So you want to market ongoing, like continue list building, new offers to existing list members, a welcome sequence for new list members that highlight your course. So. And I highly recommend you consider working with virtual assistants who can help you manage, you know, marketing tasks. So. And I got there. Well, sorry that was so fast. I didn't have time to prepare this because, as I said, with Tom, with his wife being ill and Tom couldn't present, I had to kind of cut this down from a major workshop that I teach. So I apologize for speaking so quick, but I wanted to get through the content. Hopefully with the video recording, you'll be able to you know, pause it and take more notes. I know some of you were saying you had trouble taking notes. So thanks, Tara. I really appreciate that. You think it was nicely done. And RX, thank you for that. Yeah, Tom needs coffee now. Okay, great. And thanks, Johnny. Any questions? Oh, Kurt says I can fill a day on my own. See, I thought this was going to be easy because I just got to host this because it's this started at 2 a.m. in the morning, my time over here in Canada. So it's I didn't expect to present, so I say it's gonna be easy because Kurt's doing all the work. Kurt and Tom and Simon and and you know, Richard are doing all the work. So oh, thanks, Warren. One of the best I've seen. Great for a late escape door. Well done. You have good energy. I was in 5 a.m. in New York there. Oh, thanks for getting up early for us. Yeah. So. And very good at picking up the questions in real time, Jenny. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I set that up to do that. So For those of you who are using Zoom and presenting this way, if you notice I put the PowerPoint into its own window, and then that way I was able to keep the chat open. So that's a tip for you if you're presenting and you do that. LinkedIn, just search for garlandcoulson.com. You'll sorry, just Garland Coulson. You'll find me there. Any of the information here, presentationpoint.com is where you go to. You can contact me through presentationpoint.com as well. 5 a.m. in Toronto as well.